משוטט בעולם, כל שופר נמשך בעמקי המדרגות, סובב הגלגל סביב, כל אוי 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 מרכבות סתומות הולכות ומתגלגלות, כל נעימות עולה ויורד, הולך ומשוטט בעולם. שוטט בעולם, כל שופר נמשך בעמקי המדרגות, סובב הגלגל סביב, כל אוי 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 אוי
Kol Galgal, the sound of a wheel comes rolling up from the depths. Obscure wagons come rolling. The sound of melodies goes up and down, walking and wandering in this world. The sound of the shofar extends as a scale from the depth, and the circle keeps spinning. It is the sound of a wheel that goes up and down. Kol Galgal, Hamit Galgal. If you joined us right from the start, you will have just heard these words sung in Hebrew by Shimon Smith of Beit Daniel, a Reform congregation in Tel Aviv. The words were written more than 700 years ago and are found in the Kabbalistic Zohar. But they only became popular as a song in 2004, when the Israeli band Shotei HaNevu'ah, the Fools of Prophecy, released their version, which you just heard. Their fusion of African, Arab, Caribbean, and Latin music combines to create a unique Israeli flavor. And so it is thanks to the popularity of the modern song that this ancient passage has found its way into the new Israeli Reform prayer book, Tfilat HaAdam. As we celebrated Tu B'Shvat this week, a festival deeply connected to the land of Israel, we thought it would be ever so fitting to turn on this Shabbat evening, as we also celebrate Shabbat Shirah, the Shabbat of songs, to some tunes composed in Israel, as well as some poetry about trees. Don't worry, you'll be familiar with most of the tunes, and if they're new tunes, well, only your family can hear you. So sing along, don't hold back, just join in. And we will begin with Erev Ba, which I'm sure you are familiar with. Rabbi Aaron was looking for his single, but he couldn't find it.
I have a 7-inch single. It was in the 1960s. This was a pop song in Israel. I'm told that the music is Aryeh Levinson and the text Oded Avishar. Those from Israel, please do talk more about this. Alden is already joining us, so do say a little bit about it in the chat. But this is a song that we use to try to transport ourselves. We've just celebrated Tu B'Shvat, the new year for trees in this country, with frozen or soggy soil, not great earth to plant trees. So we're taking ourselves over to Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, where we say, again, the flock is moving to the outskirts of the city, and the dust rises from the paths, and far away a couple of bells sound. Again, Erev Ba, Erev Ba. Shuvah Erev Noher, Bimbohot Hakvar, Ve'oleh Ahava, Bishvil Le'afar, Ve'horei kotzemet timbalim, Melabed meshech hatzlalim, wherever you are, we hope that you either have already got your candles lit or you're ready to do so with us. This week we were lighting other candles in our windows to let all of our local communities know and remember the Holocaust, but it's juxtaposed this week in 5781, the Jewish year, with Tu B'Shvat, one which brings light, one which brings hope in the darkness to a new year. And so we say together, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. And if you were standing, then, well, don't sit down, because we think you'll enjoy a little bit of L'chud Nerananah. And we're taking you up to Jerusalem now, to Nava Tehillah. We're told that when Nava Tehillah come to town, they pace out the space for a few hours to create the soul, to create the atmosphere. It's your own homes. You have your own souls there. So let's get up and let's move our feet a little bit. And as with the music that we began the service with, we also turn to Africa for some new beats and some new soul and some new moves as well. So please do feel free to move your feet again with the Abudaya community of Uganda. Lechatodi lekratikala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lechatodi lekratikala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamo v'zacho b'dibor echad Ishmihanu el hamyuchuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shemu tiferet v'lithilah Lechatodi lekratikala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha Ki hi makom haberacha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof mahaseh b'mashvat tefila Lechatodi lekratikala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Hitorori, Kiva hore, kumiori, uri, shida beri, kevod Adonai, alayech nigla, lechatodi, lekratikala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, Boi v'shalom materet bala Gam b'simcha u'tzotzochola Toch emunei mam segula Boi chala Lechatodi lekratikala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Lechatodi lekratikala B'nei Shabbat nekabela. From the continent of Africa we move north again onto the Tayelet, onto the promenade in Tel Aviv, and it's wonderful to go to the secular community of Beit Tefillah Yisraeli on a Friday night on the Broadwalk, and to be able to see the sun beginning to set, just as they sing a psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor shir yom HaShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai. Mizmor shir yom HaShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, u'zamer l'shimcha elyon, u'zamer l'shimcha elyon, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני.
If only I could see your love as an orchid blossom, I would smell the secret scent of holiness from the heavens. If only I could see your love as a cedar in Lebanon, I would stand tall in the strength of your glory. If only I could see your love as a date palm, I would become the sweet fruit of divine plenty.
Do you please rise?
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Praise be the one to whom our praise is due.
We praise the Eternal One, to whom our praise is due forever. If you were standing, then please feel free to be seated. The poems that we're sharing today, the poems, or really prayers by Alden Soloway, are part of his Tu B'Shvat liturgy, and it's really a pleasure that we get to share them with you in this special Friday night service. Tending Gardens. Wildflowers bloom, a field of colours, a meadow on a hillside, wild and free, tended by sun and rain, gently painted by the will of the earth.
Another place of delight my garden blooms, a blueprint from my heart, guided by my hand, tended with love and affection, planted, accorded to my design.
God of splendour, grant me the willingness to plant gardens.
And the wisdom to leave other gardens.
To your loving hand.
Teach me the beauty of doing and glory not doing.
Grant me the power to act and the strength to refrain.
Let my will to create and my willingness to accept find balance and harmony in my heart and in my hands,
so that my doing and my not doing serve your will and your world.
Israel, Amacharavata, Amacharavata. Torah to mitzvot, to kimu mishpatim, otanu lemadata. Otanu lemadata. Alkein Adonai Eloheinu b'shofeinu, kumenu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם כיומן ולילה, כיומן ולילה. ברחבתך אל תעזוב, ליבנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל. Please rise.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu,
Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam, Leolam, Amen.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. אני אדוני, אני אדוני, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אני אדוני, אני אדוני, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם כאנושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני, אני אדוני, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אני אדוני, אני אדוני, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני, אני אדוני, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אני אדוני, אני אדוני, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. This Shabbat is called Shabbat Shira, the Sabbath of Song. It's also the Sidra, the Torah portion of Bashalach. Both are focused around the song at the sea. The song that traditionally we understand to be Moses' song, although many of us question and think is probably Miriam's song, but really it's all of our song. Every week we face little trials and tribulations. Some are bigger, some are smaller, but we all do have those moments when we're just a little bit or a bit down. And so perhaps we can sing these words now as we celebrate getting to the other side. A moment when we can sit or stand, we can just be at peace with ourselves, with our family, with our friends, with all of those that we feel around us at the moment. And so we sing the words of Miriam, Moses, and all the Israelites throughout time. Oh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Oh, mi chamocha negah b'kodesh. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תבל. This prayer is a tree. Could it be that a prayer is like a tree falling in the woods? No one needs to hear its thunderous crush, for its nutrients to soak back into the earth, for its hollows to provide shelter, for it to become one with life itself. Let your prayers pour out upon the fertile ground of your heart. Let your prayers feed your aching soul. Could it be that your prayer is like a tree falling in the woods? No one needs to see it crack and tumble for it to clear space for new growth, for it to open space, letting sunlight penetrate the deep, for it to become one with life itself.
Bearing in mind all of our ancestors, let us say together, we praise you, eternal one, our God,
and
God of our ancestors, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah. Great and mighty, awesome and exalted God, you deal kindly with us and embrace us all. You remember the faithfulness of our ancestors, and in love bring redemption to their children's children, for the sake of your name. You are our sovereign and helper, our Redeemer and shield. We praise you, O God, shield of Abraham, protector of Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, machayei metim ata rav lechoshia, mashiv haruach umarid hageshem, mazriach hashemesh umarid ata. Machalkel chayim b'chesed, machayei metim b'rachamim rabim. Somech noflim rofeh choalim umatir asurim umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Mi chamocha ba'al gevurot umi domelach melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'ema nata l'hachayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, machayei hametim.
קדוש אתה ונורא שמך ואין לנו אלוה מבלעדיך.
Baruch atah Adonai,
האל הקדוש.
And if you wish, please be seated. And otherwise, if you're slightly more traditional, then please remain standing as we read together. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. In your gracious love, eternal one, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts. And may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, eternal one, for the holiness of the Sabbath. And together, Ratzeh Adonai Eloheinu ba'amacha Yisrael, utfilatam b'achava tekabel, utyehi ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha b'yirah na'avod. And we continue. Modim anachnu lach, shatahu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu, le'olam va'ed. Tzor chayenu magen ishenu, atahu לדור ודור. נודה לך ונספר תהילתך, על חיינו המסורים בידיך, ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך, ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלותיך וטובותיך, שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך, ולך נאה להודות. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amam, Tatzim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amam, Tatzim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amam, Tatzim le'olam. Shalom Rav Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
Baruch atah Adonai, osei hashalom.
Osei shalom bimrola. Uyasei shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol bnei Adam. Ve'imru. Osei shalom bimrola. Uyasei shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol bnei Adam. Ve'imru. May the Most High, source of perfect peace, grant peace to us, to all Israel, to all of humanity. We have taken ourselves on a journey this evening through Eretz Yisrael. We've extended it out to different corners of the Jewish world, And even if the modern state will not accept the Abu Daya community, we most certainly will within our services, singing their music, singing their tunes, singing the words of our communal ancient ancestors. And we also turn to the slightly more modern, of Israelis who have chosen to live abroad as well. In this case, Yael Naim, an Israeli who now resides in Paris, who delights so many around the world with her beautiful music. And we hope that as you rise for our slightly more modern
Slightly
and
alternative.
creative and alternative Aleinu, that you will join in with these beautiful words and feel that you have been given a new soul.
I'm a new soul. I came to this strange world hoping I could learn a bit about how to give and take. But since I came here, felt the joy and the fear, finding myself making every possible mistake. La 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 la. La 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 la. See, I'm a young soul in this very strange world, hoping I could learn a bit about what is true and fake. But why all this hate? Try to communicate. Finding trust and love is not always easy to make. La 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 I'm a new soul. I came to this strange world, hoping I could learn a bit about how to give and take. But since I came here, felt the joy and the fear, finding myself making every possible mistake. La 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 la.
Remember those who died in recent days and those who died at this time of the year and years gone by.
On this Shabbat, we think of those whose yahrzeit falls at this time. Berta Mendoza, the mother of Lynn Sharp. Evelyn Elton, the mother of Gary, grandmother of Sarah and James, and mother-in-law of Ali. Henley Lawrence Strapkin, the father of Neil. Lily Conn, the mother of Elkin. Rosalind Cashman, the sister of Sharon Phillips and Jackie Narden, aunt of Mark and Ellie, Michael and Ross. And Siggy Gordon, the father of Michael. We're saddened by the recent death of Leslie Morporgo, wife of Frank, sister of our member Alan Masters, and sister-in-law of Michelle, and Ahmed Mowafi, the cousin of Ahmed Musa, as well as Anna Meissner, a survivor from Colleen, who enthusiastically supported our Czech connection.
We also think of Georges Arfi, the friends of Celia and Michel Naval, who died this week. We say for all of them, Zecher Tzadikim Livracha. May all that was dear and good in their lives endure always as a blessing and as a continual influence for good. As we say these immortal words, Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Meirabah, Be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, B'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'lamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'tada v'taleh v'talal shemei d'kodesha brichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbachata v'nechemata, Damiran balma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, B'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei Adam, v'imru, Amen. May the Most High Source of perfect peace grant peace to us, to all Israel, to all humanity, and to all who mourn. In a moment, we're going to conclude, I think, with Tzadik Katama, another Israeli special. The second part of Psalm 92, we thought, seeing Alden's prayer so beautifully reflected on that part of Psalm 92, we thought we'll leave it out at that part of the service and put it in right at the end. It's lovely to see your many, many comments. I especially love the tree puns. There were some fantastic tree puns going on there, but also it's a pleasure that you're enjoying all the wonderful music. Shabbat Shira is always a special Shabbat for us. In the past few years, it's been the service where Rabbi Aaron and I go barefoot for flower power, but it's a bit cold, and also we have a spectacular band, but not quite flower power rock, a little bit more sort of jazzy. It is, but it's wonderful to have Ollie and Leora with us. And also we must thank Auden for the incredible poetry. If you haven't gone out and bought his books, not gone out, but bought his books, and you know what I mean, then please do. They really are soaring. Please do support these wonderful Jewish people from around the world who are making their trade, writing liturgical poetry, liturgical music as well. All of the music that we use as well, we acknowledge all of those who write it. We're so delighted to be able to sing the music of Nava Tehillah from Jerusalem this evening, of Beit Tefillah Yisraeli from Tel Aviv this evening, and many more. And we haven't rehearsed this at all, so
no, I was thinking this is going to be a surprise. But apparently, Ollie is the next Jamie Cullum, so he'll be all right.
I think we're okay. It's something like this. Tzadik katama yifrach yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach. Ke'erez ba'vanon yizke, ke'erez ba'vanon yizke, ke'erez ba'vanon yizke, yizke. Ke'erez ba'vanon yizke, ke'erez ba'vanon yizke, ke'erez ba'vanon yizke, yizke. Now, if you haven't got up yet, then I'm really disappointed.
I know, you need to practice.
You've got to feel your feet moving.
Move
We sure
like
got
a tree.
Yeah, moving like a palm tree, that's for sure. That's certainly the idea of this song. I remember singing it in 1988 in the Merkaz in the centre of Ashkelon, when I went Israeli dancing for my first Friday night on my gap year. I didn't know anything else that was going on, but as soon as they played this, I was right in there making a fool of myself. So please get up. None of us can see you. but we can
You can
imagine
only
what
see
you
us.
look like. But let us join together like a palm tree. Sadikatama yifrak yifrak, sadikatama yifrak, sadikatama yifrak yifrak, sadikatama yifrak. Ke'eres bavanon yizke, ke'eres bavanon yizke, ke'eres bavanon yizke yizke. Ke'eres bavanon yizke, ke'eres bavanon yizke, ke'eres bavanon yizke yizke. I'm sure we won't be able to do the second verse, so let's just stick to the
yeah,
first one.
just
Have
gonna do the
another
first one again.
refrain. Sadikatama yifrak yifrak, sadikatama yifrak, sadikatama yifrak yifrak, sadikatama yifrak. Ke'eres bavanon yizke, ke'eres bavanon yizke, ke'eres bavanon yizke yizke. Ke'eres bavanon yizke, ke'eres bavanon yizke, ke'eres bavanon yizke yizke. On this Shabbat, let us all be like righteous people, flourishing like a date palm, like a cedar in Lebanon. Let us grow tall, planted in the house of the Eternal, in the courtyards of the Eternal. They will flourish. May we all flourish on this Shabbat, no matter how shivery we are in our abodes, no matter how gloomy it is outside. Let us all flourish. Let us all imagine ourselves planting a palm, a cedar in Eretz Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and do join us for Kiddush in our Kiddush Zoom room.
גלגל המתגלגל למטה למעלה מרכבות סתומות הולכות ומתגלגלות קול נעימו עולה ויורד הולך ומשוטט בעולם כל גלגל מתגלגל ממטה למעלה